Hello, I'm Karen Chalk from Circus Eruption. Thank you very much to SCVS for asking us to come and speak about what we've done during the pandemic and how networks have helped us do that. It's a very nice story to be able to tell. So as many of you know, we are a circus inclusion project. We started 30 years ago to bring together really young people with and without statements and labels of disability. And over the years, we've also expanded our work really to make sure we've also got an active inclusion of young people with refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds and those with care experience or at risk of becoming care experienced. And, you know, the young people we work with face many other challenges as well, or none that we know about. So it's really bringing everyone together to build confidence and resilience and build a sense of belonging. So that's what we do. And obviously we do it through Circus, which is very room based. So when the pandemic hit in March 2020, like everyone else, we had to go straight online. This took us only a couple of weeks. My colleagues Alex and Amanda did NSPCC training videos to make sure that we had all our digital safeguarding policies and procedures in place, and we knew how to make sure that everyone was safe online very quickly really. And so that also presented obviously a really loads of creative challenges in the Zoom room then for my colleagues who were trying to do circus online for the first time, and they came up with just incredibly creative and engaging ideas about what to do, including, you know, I mean, you can try it yourself, juggling with balled up socks and lots of different things that they did, and ways to play, finding ways to play and adapt games for online. That was the first part of the pandemic, and then as it got into the later spring of 2020, early summer, we were realizing that it wasn't looking good for getting back in the room anytime that year, and we started to explore doing an outdoor option. But the very short version is we put up a tent in a field and we ran circus outdoors for 4 weeks in October 2020, which was amazing. But after that, then in the spring of 2021, we then also carried on outdoors in Brynmill Park. So those were kind of ways to meet the young people, which were really important and really good fun. And I think there are, you know, we all know it, don't we? But there are things that you just can't get from being online, so you can maintain engagement, and we did that, I think, with reasonable degree of success, although it was hard work. And meeting the young people in person was really significant and also really good fun. And to have something that was fun and memorable in late 2020 felt like a pretty phenomenal thing to have done. We did feel really good about it. But when I say it very quickly like that, because I've only got 5 minutes, it makes it sound like it was really easy, and it wasn't. So there's two things that made it possible. One was really hard graft, and the other one was networks. So on the grafting side, so many risk assessments, and I'm extremely fortunate because I think without my colleague Amanda Baglow, those would have fallen to me, and I was busy trying to make sure that we didn't, you know, that we carried on as an organisation and could sustain ourselves and keep going. And I would have found it really hard to find the capacity to do all that as well. She was amazing at it, and so we had very strong safeguarding protocols, but also COVID risk assessments for when we were even going outside in the tent, and also the training of staff and volunteers that has to happen to make that happen safely in terms of public health as well as safeguarding issues at that time. And also things that you wouldn't think about unless you have put a tent up in a field, which are things like site management, site safety. Fortunately, I knew someone who was an events manager and came and helped us with the health and safety aspects. We also had a bit of an issue with the person who we were going to be hiring a big top from, pulled out a couple of weeks beforehand, so we just had to find someone else to do it, and someone knew someone because we are a circus, so we do have those connections too. But that was really tough. And also, as we were putting it up, we were thinking, are we even going to be able to run one session? Because in October 2020, the situation was so volatile. And we didn't even know whether we'd be able to run one. We ran 4 weekends out of the 5 we'd planned because lockdown came in just as we were about to do our final session, but at least we got 4, which was amazing for young people and for staff and volunteers as well, as I might have said. The networks that we really had to rely on as well, I'd got in touch with Summit Good, Josh at Summit Good a couple of years earlier, just to talk about them, us, see if there was any potential for collaborations. And I was kind of thinking we might be able to support them in some ways, but potentially with the building that we were going to be moving into in a couple of years' time. And it ended up that they've got a field in Dunvant, so we used that for our big top. And there was a real generosity of spirit from Summit Good and Josh in particular about the use of the field. There were things that we needed, like not having other adults around really when there were young people there, that were just straightforward and you know, no difficult conversations. That was amazing. The relationships with funders was crucial. So we had the Austin Bailey Foundation gave us some new funding, and then Children in Need and West Glamorgan Partnership, ICF, allowed us to use some of the existing funding we had from them towards the big top costs as well, and that was incredible. So really it was the background graft and the networks that we've developed over years really that made it possible to keep going and to continue to provide those opportunities for our young people from then till now really. Thanks again SCVS, and I hope that you will enjoy your afternoon.